in your household, there needs to be some authority.
Facts.
And there needs to be some fair. Like for me, like not everybody grows up with their dad, not everybody grows up with their mum or they ain't got uncles. But I feel like if there's some a bit of responsibility in the household where your parents are onto you, like what time you're getting in, they're checking you, they're checking your room, your cousins are beat. Like there was. I think respect of older people, like my older brother, like I couldn't, even if I thought I could fight him, I would have got punched up from him.
The community element's gone.
Yeah, but do you know why it's gone? The community element's gone.
Do you know we always blame the community? Do you know why it's gone though? Like what we don't talk about is how expensive it is to keep up with having a family. And what we never talk about, actually, we always like do this weird thing. Like you see people like that, they always weirdly blame like the black community. The black community are predominantly working class. Predominantly black parents like work long hours. Predominantly black parents like they can't afford. Like, you know, my kids are very lucky. Like sometimes they rock home, I'm there. They rock home, mumsy's there. They rock home, this one's there. Like, you know, like it's like they're very lucky in that, you know, I'm comfortably middle class. Like if I might not be like I'm easily middle class, right? But I don't look at myself as that. But ultimately, there's some people, like the parents are not there, not because they're responsible, just because like they have to like make ends meet.
Is it recording?
Yeah.
No, I'm blessed.
No. Oh, yeah, we'll just cut that out.
The drill thing, do you feel like it's coming to an end?
Yeah, do you know what's mad? The drill lot, the people who are leading the drill movement, like people would say that are leading the drill movement. No, they're saying it. Like they're not really doing drill no more.
And a lot of some of them just in jail as well.
Where they bury them. Bruv, there's this.
Banner's getting birded.
There's this YouTuber that
where
knows
they belong,
everything, bro, and bury them in jail. You know, but they just. Because you don't hear about them, you just think, oh, you might think he's still out.
They're quiet.
They're in jail, bro.
Yeah.
Sad, man.
It's sad.
And it's mad because some of them are
So
talented.
And you got to remember
when you hit
when
them on the beat, you're like, oof.
When these men go to jail, that there's like a money that goes towards them, man, that just stops. They're people, the people that they look
Their
after, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bro, it's
it.
peak.
Everyone's back on the roads again.
Yeah.
All the affiliates on a vibe.
But you know what is? I feel like drill was missing the infrastructure. So like where Grime, Garage, Funky House, they had the record shops, they had the raves, you had the people flying. You had, like, I just feel like you made drill.
No, they had no.
You have the record labels, the majors.
They had raves. Raves were ending bloodbaths.
There was drill
They
raves.
didn't have raves.
Yeah, you have raves.
How you can tell me they didn't have
Drill
raves?
raves?
Yes,
The
bro.
police were locking it off.
Exactly. But they
Drill
did have
raves.
them.
So how did they have it?
No, I'm saying they attempted it and they got locked off. I'm just saying they attempted to have drill raves.
I've never seen a drill rave.
I know a venue who
Guys,
said...
we're sounding old now.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
get the drill
I'm
youths and
saying,
get them to talk about drill.
I'm saying, like, I've worked with
Well,
venues.
day release.
They've hosted drill raves. Like, they've hosted artists that they believe is next up. This artist could be the next, whoever the big drill artist is, the next heady one. This is the guy. He's hosting the show. Brother, it ends in a bloodbath.
Yeah, that's
There's
sad,
man of beef. They can't do it no
because it's a real thing.
more. No, I know. I'm just saying
very-
they've
Because, for
attempted it,
example,
though.
in the Grime days, it was like, man might have an issue, but it was like, if the issue was a big issue, then it might escalate. But generally speaking, it was just
There's
a
only
crash.
there's only so far you could actually take, you know what I mean, like pure uncut violence, you know what I mean, that has real life implications. There's only so far you could take that essentially. And I think there's going to come a time where I genuinely believe everyone that was complicit in getting it to where it was needs to be held accountable as well. Because I genuinely, like, when you look at, you know what I mean, this is my opinion. When it comes to Grime, most people won't agree with it because, you know, you have people that say it's good for this, it's good for this. I personally don't believe it is. And I genuinely think the good it did outweighs, you know what I mean?
What are you talking about? Drill, not Grime.
Drill, not Grime. Did I say Grime? I mean drill. You know, all the bad that, you know, came from drill outdid the good, in my opinion. Because when I look at the state of where we are right now, where people are and so on, and what goes on. Because, you know, another thing where, you know, these kids making money is a good thing and it's a bad thing. Because you have to understand that, you know, a lot of people don't take into consideration that, cool, you've got, you know, these kids that are on violence, they're doing this and this and this, and some of them then get money. What is it that they do with this money? You know what I mean? You have people putting loads of machines on the streets, you know what I mean, to, you know, fund all of their beefs where people would brag about it. So this is something that we didn't think of in that way, the implications. Because it's great to see talented people get their recognition, but sometimes we don't think of what the flip side looks like. And personally, I think not a lot of, you know what I mean, I won't say they're responsible for the majority of what's going on, but I'd say there's a big chunk where we can sit there and say, this is because of this. And, even the record labels, I look at the record labels and I think these people should be held accountable as well, because they were part of the demographic that were trying to make it seem like it's not that big of a deal. Anybody that would say anything would be painted as a as a bad person, essentially, because you're holding the kids back. You don't want this, you don't want this, but you're like, this is, everyone was kind of thinking in the moment. So for them, the labels, bro, and you're like, yo, this is making money right now. We are eating without thinking of what that looks like for those kids. Those kids are in jail now. That labels ain't taken for them. All of those people that will benefit, one second, all of those people that were eating off them, enjoying the music, you know what I mean? You're the old whatever now. People, even you go on social media when people talk about these, people like these bloody idiots, this and this. But when the music was booming, people were loving that. No one's telling these guys that this is this. But now that they're, they've done what they've done, people have seen what the implications of this are. In hindsight, everyone is saying, this is bloody terrible. But in the moment, you were enjoying it. In the moment, you were encouraging it. In the moment, you were part of this problem. But all of these kids that are in jail now, guarantee you, these people that were out there promoting this, doing this, they don't give a shit. Those kids will stay where they are.
But Keith, I hear what you're saying, but that's music in general though. Because if you look at rap in America,
they say the same thing about rap and gangster rap.
I'm not saying your point's invalid. I'm saying that these people have been profiting off this. It doesn't matter.
100%.
You're saying they're complicit, but
we are living. All I'm saying for us,
they've been doing it, bro.
And we are living in the reality now. And I think for me, when we think of hip hop, and that's why I won't bring up the hip hops in America and this and this and this, because we've been listening to that music. But for us, maybe we don't feel the effects of that.
But that's kind of the reason why I think Afro beats is cut through, because if you look at if you think of dancehall, it's badness, drill music, rap music. And the biggest music in the world is Afro beats. It's because
it's happy music.
It's happy music, bro. My mum can listen to it, my gran.
Anyone.
It's a vibe. Yeah. And I think it's just cut through.
Yeah.
And it's gonna stay because it's the energy, it's the vibration. It's just like, you know what, let's get up, let's party. If you listen to Amapiano, it's the same thing. Like you just want to vibe. I don't even know what man are saying.
Yeah.
Or what anyone's singing, but I'm vibing.
Keith
and
does.
The energy and I feel like until
sometimes
the music changes and the vibration,
but I don't.
It's gonna be a problem.
But the funny thing is music going to change? Because if you look at, we've spoke about Graham.
It always changes.
No, it does. But I'm saying if you look at Graham, for example, man, we're talking badness with Graham.
Do you know what it is?
Do you know what it is?
But the thing is, what the difference was, man, we're talking badness, but the behavior wasn't matching the badness because they were just talking.
Yeah. But when it started to get really serious and things really started happening in grime and artists ended up going to jails and things, that the industry clamped down and it crashed. Remember, like grime died, like because the music died, like the attitude, the people, like
it wasn't making money either.
It wasn't making money.
No, but I feel like, but the difference here is, it's interesting you said that because I feel like music, Graham died because I think yous lot were making money and they couldn't get it.
No, but I don't even think it's just that.
For
me, like when I see grime,
like
people say, "Oh, Grime's dead." I see Skepta all the time. He's grime. When I see Gets, they may not be making grime
140
music,
BPM,
but that is grime. That's the evolution of it. Like John Stanley, it has to grow.
No, but I get what you're saying, but what I'm trying to say to you is, for example, like in grime, you said you man was, for example, selling white labels out of Boots, whatever. So that's money that you man.
But they're
making.
mainstream, cause streaming, and like you said, once streaming come in and you had to do all of that, it messed up records.
No, 100%. But I'm saying, because you're saying they when violence happened, they locked off grime. But I'm like,
remember, you had to do that film, what's the film? 696.
But violence has been happening. They haven't locked off drill to a degree.
Because it's digital. Because drill is digital.
And because,
guys, we're being honest. If you look at the artists who are really doing well,
like four of them.
Like who's really doing well, they're not really doing they're not looking threatening. They're not stabbing anyone. They're not like.
And they had to realize that to be profitable. That's why when you look at artists like Digger D.
Sometimes it's the affiliates though. It's not their.
Yeah, but they can't control that though.
Exactly, but they're still a part of that.
Drill makes too much money, and this is it. And that's what those labels, because they can profit from it.
That's the difference. That's what I'm saying. The difference between Graham and Drill is that Graham, they couldn't make money off it like that. So they So they could say, fuck grime.
No, but they did
whereas
at one
drill,
time. They
can't
did
do
make
that.
a lot of money because they had the Striders, they had the Dizzies.
But that wasn't grime though. That was remember, that's them
That's
signing.
grime.
They started making electro.
That's them signing.
That's an electro.
That's what man were making when they signed.
It's not
Remember,
called electro.
Remember, that's no,
when were you man? When were you man? They were
Dance,
making
dance.
some.
Was it called electro?
I know what you mean though.
No.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Man
You're right.
was
It's
wrong.
called dance
Remember?
electro. Yeah, electro.
I
It's
know
a
what
bad
you're
name
saying.
though.
But my point,
Electronic music.
Yeah, bro.
I hear what you're saying.
Because what I'm trying to say to you is, as Keith was saying, because they can monetize drill, yeah, and they're making money off of it, there's not this speed and urgency of we need to shut this down because we're making money out of it. Whereas grime, because it was a bit more messy, it was in terms of maybe if there was an issue, it will be in a rave and man will walk in there and let off a gunshot. It's mad. Like the police have to act now because the community or people
Yeah, but
are
I
getting
think times
involved.
have
Do you know what I'm
changed
saying?
because when grime was popping, we didn't have social media.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have
That plays a
Instagram
part
like
as
that.
well.
Like so, all of that
Mm.
plays a massive part into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next sound of music.
Mm.
We had the last end of MySpace and Facebook and what's the other one? LimeWire. What's the
LimeWire.
Yeah, yeah.
That downloading. Yeah.
That was the era. We started burning onto CDs.
CDs and
I think when the CD thing came in, was the first people I
Because
remember
that killed the records.
that
didn't
killed the records, and the
Yeah.
first people I saw with CDs was like
it?
J2K.
J2K
Had his heat
had a
on the
mixtape.
heats on the streets and all of that. And I think that's when it started to change.
Well,
Because-
J2K's been wavy from then, yeah?
J2K made heat.
Come
in
on.
the
And you
streets.
man
My
went-
guy.
That was the first mixtape.
No, I know, but I'm saying like J2K. You can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it now when
yeah,
he does
yeah.
certain
Yeah,
things.
I
that
feel
he
like in
makes.
fresh
he's a,
one.
he's a mastermind.
And
like.
even if there was badness, some kind of badness in grime, you guys weren't doing badness just to create content, if that makes sense. And now I feel like with somebody, you know, when they're trying to one up each other on the smoke, where people, you know what I mean, you said 9 names of people you did something to, we're going to say 14 on the next track. So we have to go out there
you know
and
what
do
it
stuff
is?
to 14 people and 15 people. And you know what I mean? Bro, there's one track I was listening to, yeah, and he's talking about wetting his bora, I'm a surgeon, you know what I mean, taking out organs. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
and then
it's
you'll
crazy.
see in people's cases and they're like, oh yeah, he really did stab someone. You're like, God damn.
So how do you feel about what the police officer said?
Brother, do you see we're going to live long? I've got to play that clip now.
Play that.
Yeah, I'm going to play the clip.
Play it, then we'll speak about it.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. But what did you say? You said something, then I was going to say, no, it doesn't matter. Where's this clip now? Yeah.
Right. Let me just correct some narratives. Since 2009, there were 1.5 million stop and searches. Because of the outrage by certain sections of the community, normally black sections of the community, that reduced last year to 500,000. Knife crime, gun crime has gone through the absolute roof. Do you know, let me just correct a narrative, and it's about time someone from within policing told Britain the truth. Black people are not stopped because of the colour of their skin. They are stopped because police follow the statistics. The statistics state that in London, some 70% of all murders are normally committed by young black men on other black men. So the reason why police stop and search so many black suspects is because 70% are responsible, either the victim or the offender, for those crimes. So who does the black community expect us to stop? It's not a point of we'll go 50-50 with a white community. We follow the statistics, and it's about time the black community took some responsibility for the appalling behaviour of some in their community rather than blame the police and frustrate us because the families that have had somebody murdered plead with us to do something about it. When we do, and it's the communities as well that want us to do something about, other sections of the community frustrate us by accusing us of doing something that we're not doing.
How long would you have as a mandatory sentence, Norman? For
5 years minimum.
I agree. Start with the 5 years. Facts. Too many of these kids are running around with knives right now because the sentences aren't even crazy like that. I'm not sure what it is that I saw the other day. A kid stabbed, I'm not sure if it was a teacher or something, and the sentence was like 14 months, yeah? And I thought to myself, why wouldn't these kids do what they do? Because you know what I mean, the punishments and the repercussions, bro, are next to nothing, essentially. 14 months, you know, it is what it is. And going on the problem that we have in our community, stop and search is one of those things where I think when I was growing up, I used to hate it because they used to pick on, there were times where I used to get draped all the time because they thought I had weed on me because I had sleepy eyes all the time. And I was like, bro, I don't even smoke. I used to get it all the time. So in that moment, you know, when you're the guy that keeps getting draped, it's annoying. You know what I mean? It's really annoying. So for me, I grew up, you know, and everything you hear about it. So I kind of had an inherent, you know, kind of distaste for the police and for all of this. But now where we are now, where you're like, bro, every other day someone's getting stabbed. The knives they have now compared to when we were growing up,
they're crazy.
you know what I mean? They're crazy. Like, we need to do something about it. And I feel like the stop and searches, in my opinion, you know what I mean, need to come back. I genuinely feel, I do believe, you know what I mean, police need to be better in how they conduct them. You know what I mean? That relationship between the police and the community needs to improve. But like I said, we need those stop and searches because things are so bad.
I mean, I don't know if like stop and search is the way necessarily. I don't even know what the way is. I'll be honest. Yeah. I don't know if stop and search is the way. London is the most surveilled city in the world. There's the most CCTV in any place in the world is in London, and there's actual cameras, right. So I had someone over at my house the other day. I was like, "Oh, what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I've been fitting fiber optic in the cameras all around, like, you know, in this area where I live." I was like, "Oh, is it? Like, what for?" It's like, they've got cameras, yeah? All these CCTV cameras that they've got in everywhere, they're basically connected to central hubs. There's one in like northwest London, like there's a central hub where there's like all these screens and the police can plug into any of those screens at any time. And like, basically they can see what's going on streets. Like, I'm not talking about speed cameras, you know? I'm just talking about on this street, there might be a camera at the end of the road. And like, they can zoom in, they can do all of that stuff. And so like, there's technology that can replace someone, like, you know, like saying like stop and search is the way. Like, every single person in this room has probably been stopped by the police and then they've not been on nothing.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I remember the only reason I don't even like police, I was 12, bringing back my computer. You know when you had them big towers from getting fixed and bare police like ambush me? Like, as a youth, man, like, do you get what I'm saying? And I didn't even know. I'd never even come in touch or in contact with the police. And then from there, every other stop has been more and more aggressive and more. Yeah. And so for me, I don't know if it's necessarily the way, because also the police recruitment process, somehow the police remains the only institution that remains staunchly white in London. So like in every other job.
But is that because black people are not
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm not.
Some black people want to be fed.
No, but I'm not even saying that. Forget that. I'm not even saying that. Like, but that shouldn't be now. Because you know you're going to be dealing with, imagine this, I know I'm going to be dealing with 70% of the type of crime that I'm dealing with is committed by this community. Like, would it make sense for me to take active steps to recruit? To make it easy. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think it's so many layers.
There's so many layers. We'll be here all night.
One thing I do know is that in your household, there needs to be some authority. Facts. And there needs to be some fair. Like, for me, like, not everybody grows up with their dad. Not everybody grows up with their mom, or they ain't got uncles. But I feel like if there's some bit of responsibility in the household where your parents are onto you, like what time you're getting in, they're checking you, they're checking your room, your cousins are beat. Like, there was. I think respect of older people. Like, my older brother, like, I couldn't, even if I thought I could fight him, I would have got punched up from him.
The community element's gone.
Yeah, but do you know why it's gone?
The community element's gone.
Do you know, we always blame the community. Do you know why it's gone though? Like, what we don't talk about is how expensive it is to keep up with having a family. And what we never talk about, actually, we always like do this weird thing. Like, you see people like that, they always weirdly blame like the black community. The black community are predominantly working class. Predominantly black parents like work long hours. Predominantly black parents like they can't afford. Like, you know, my kids are very lucky. Like, sometimes they rock home, I'm there. They rock home, mumsy's there. They rock home, this one's there. Like, you know, like, it's like they're very lucky in that, you know, I'm comfortably middle class. Like, if I might not be like the world, like, I'm easily middle class, right? But I don't look at myself as that. But ultimately, there's some people, like, the parents are not there, not because they're responsible, just because like they have to like make ends meet. And so like, I think it's very difficult to have these conversations without talking about the poverty gap, without talking about, like, you know, actually how much people make when they're working, without talking about the cost of living and inflation and that how that outpaces how much people get from working, and actually how difficult it is to parent like in a full-time way when you have to literally struggle and strive to put food on the table. And so actually it is a complex conversation because everything feeds into everything. And then at the minute you start unpacking, like, because a lot of the time we talk about, oh, there's no black community. How's there going to be a community when people are working 24/7? And also we could sit here as black men that actually we've kind of designed our own destinies where we can make money like in different ways and all of that, where we don't necessarily have to go to work every day.
It's a hard one because it's like if you're out on the roads and you see a situation happening, some youths or whatever getting into it, and you try to stop it, and you try to intervene, they back brothers out on you.
Yep, facts.
They'll be running you down the road. Do you understand what you're saying? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's such a.
But do you know, is what you said? I think there's. I've heard everyone speaking. There's so many different layers. So to what Keith was saying in terms of stop and search, I agree to a degree in terms of the whole. What the issue is when my issue isn't stop and search. My issue is the way they conduct it. So whenever they conduct stop and search, when it's a black boy or someone from a community that's deprived, they cut corners, they ignore protocol, and they're over aggressive with their stop. If it was somebody else, you wouldn't do it like this. So that's the issue because, for example, we've all had issues with stop and search that's scarred us in a way that has made us maybe see police and say, sometimes, I don't know if you man do it, sometimes I see police, I'm like, oh, fuck police. And I'm like, I don't even know why I said that, but it's because
it's been trained.
It's been programmed into your head that like you have done so many things that like
to undermine our community.
Like the thing is, when they stop you, for example, sometimes it's like, what are you stopping me for? And you haven't given me a reason. Like if you stop me and say, hi, how you doing? You're right, can you just stay there, please? But a lot of knife crime in this area, we're just going to give you a pat down just to make sure you haven't got any knives on you, whatever. If they explain it to you in a way, and then there's kind of a bit, it's different. Whereas more, it's like, they come up to you and it's like, what are you doing around here? What? So from the beginning, you're like, what do you want to do around here? You don't know if I live here.
Yeah.
So from the jump, you've come at me aggressively.
Your back's up.
And then if you're kind of giving them a bit of, they don't like that. So now it's a case of, who are you talking to? Watch. And you can kind of get the body language. The next minute, you're on the floor. Hand behind your back. You ain't got nothing on you. Oh, sorry about that. They might not even say sorry. Take the handcuffs off. And they're just getting their van and drive off. So you're vexed now. You're thinking, what the fuck? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, you're not vexed. You feel violated.
You feel violated.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you know what? I've always, like, anytime I've been stopped by the police, like, I've always just been calm. Like I've been pulled over in my car. Yeah. But in my head, I know I got insurance. I know I got MOT. I know I ain't got no guns in here. I know I don't. Like, I know. So I'm just calm. They're checking it. Yeah, I'll do that. I bust joke with them. Because I feel like as soon as you get out and you're on smoke, they're on smoke.
But I think it depends on what age you are. Because, for example, I can get out now and be on smoke. But it's the age you are. And because sometimes police will look at you and be like, I'm not too sure about this one. He might complain or he might know someone or maybe... Whereas when it's a kid, more times, bro, like... Do you know what I'm saying? That's why you get in, they're strip searching.
But how do they manage
10-year-olds,
it?
8-year-olds.
Do you know what it is?
How do they manage it?
How does it get that far?
You said the CCTV thing, the cameras and that.
Yeah.
But just seeing someone...
Doesn't tell you anything.
Someone said something to us, I'm not going to say the name. They was like, bro, like, I don't care. Like, man, I got CCTV outside their house and that. The CCTV is not going to save man from stabbing you or shooting
I'm there.
I'm there. I'm going to lick off the thing now, bro. I don't care if there's a camera.
They might see you're murdering 4K.
So how does...
That prevent.
He doesn't prevent that. So you taking a knife for someone that might have stopped someone from getting stabbed 10 minutes later.
And people knowing they can get randomly stopped and said, you know what I mean? You get those kids where I genuinely believe there's certain people like, I'm carrying it, it is what it is. And then you have those people, you know those half-hearted ones where it's like, I'm not feeling to get searched and have this knife taken off or found on me, you know what I mean? And like I was saying, if the sentence is this much, well, you're like, okay, the sentence for carrying a knife is this much.
Yeah.
I don't really want to carry it because this and this might happen. So I feel like it will remove a certain group of kids from carrying it, the ones that are in the middle space. And you find that you do have a lot of kids in that middle space that end up doing stuff sometimes, not because they're, on badness, but you're in the moment, you have a knife, you've gotten into it with someone, and you've done something you wouldn't have done if you didn't have it.
I think it's fair as well, like, do you understand?
You hold it. You hold it.
A lot of people are holding knives, not because they want to do anything to them. They don't want no one to trouble them. So they're like, oh, well, I'm from wherever, and I'm going, I don't know, Westfields to go and do shopping. But some youths back up on me. I'm backing my thing out. Like, not because I want to do anything, but I'm fearful.
Okay,
and
cool,
someone's scared is very dangerous because you know what I mean. A lot of people don't know what they're capable of when they're scared, when they're cornered, when they're
say
back.
most people that get stabbed, they get stabbed with their own knife.
Yeah,
That happens.
But what are you? Like,
I was gonna say your example. If your example, if they do introduce like mandatory 5 years if you're caught carrying a knife, yeah, there's bare man that's gonna get caught and go jail, and they didn't do nothing.
You had it on you.
Yeah, they had it on them.
Yeah.
For me, that's good enough.
Yeah, but-
Don't carry it.
But my issue with knives,
Because you ain't carrying it to butter bread.
It's kind of what Femi said. Yeah, it's kind of, I can't remember who said it, but they were talking. They were like, the problem with this whole knife epidemic is people want to punish at the end. So, for example, anyone carrying a knife 5 years, blah blah blah. But we're not looking at why these lot are carrying knives. We're not looking at what is getting people to the stage of.
But we know why they're carrying
But
knives. It's fair.
No, but it's not.
You're
It's
carrying
not just fair,
No,
bro.
it's not.
I think it's 90% of it is fair.
But it's not just fair because you know I've been working with a couple of schools recently, yeah, and people don't realize, like, not in a rude way, but there's a lot of bad parents out there, bro.
Terrible,
Yeah.
bro.
There's a lot of parents that are like high, so they brother, imagine you're like, I've never experienced that, but imagine going home and your mum's high.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
No,
But
I'm never being. No,
but-
sorry, I'm not even being rude. I'm just like, so that kid now, he goes home, his mum's high. Like in his head, no one cares about him, bro. So in his mind, like life is. I don't give a shit. Like even there's one student in particular that like basically anytime he came to school, he would just start fights with anyone, like anybody. And people were like, what's wrong with him? But when they researched and looked into it, like no one at home cared. So in his mind, he was like, nobody cares what I do anyway.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of youths out there that like their parents, either you have parents that are working all hours of the day,
So
there might be
absent.
single parents, so they're absent. So when the kid comes back from school, they make something to eat, man them on the block or around, all right, let me see what you man are saying. You've mixed with the wrong company. You might have someone who you get home, your mum and dad's high. You might have someone
But
who
we
gets
are
home.
still speaking about a small portion of people. So, for example, we're saying this, yeah?
Mm.
Yeah, but there's loads of kids who's got the same situation
That aren't doing that.
who ain't doing that.
And when we
So
speak
why I do say a part of it is fair, because, and I don't mean fair in a way that they just want to survive.
Yeah.
So they're like, my girl lives over there. I'm not from that end. I need to get to see my girl. Man are gonna chief me up on the bus, or might get moved to, or I'm wearing this, or I've got this, and I don't want no one to take it. So do you know what? I'm gonna roll out of my thing, and if anyone tells me anything,
Just in
I'm
case.
backing my thing just in case.
No,
or if man run me down, just in case.
That just in case that man do sometimes.
Yeah,
Brother.
yeah.
And
Bro,
it's
and
stress,
bro,
man.
and it's like you go raving, you have to move out with your team. Not, bro, you're not doing, bro, it just could be because you're who you are and gal like you.
Yeah.
And my man's jealous because his gal listens to your
And on top of that, just to add another layer, it could just be because you're by yourself.
yeah.
Like if you was with one man, I ain't even gonna trouble you.
Yeah.
But you're by yourself.
Oh, that's my
Let me-
man. He does the
yeah.
podcast. What? He thinks he's funny. Bro, it's simple things like
It's
that
just mad.
that make you get into a madness.
Yeah. And even when we were talking about, you know, when we were talking about,
We'll be scrapping the
Yeah, I'm not saying,
even
but-
when we were talking about the poverty aspect of it, right? And I was like, statistically, you know, when we think of poverty, I'd say just based off sheer number of white people in this country, they're overrepresented, you know what I mean, in poor people. But we're overrepresented in the murder numbers, you know what I mean? So when you look at those statistics, I feel like there's also something else happening here. So you're like, cool, we have a bunch of, you
No,
know,
but we're talking about predominantly London. Like London's very
Bro, no,
diverse. London's very diverse.
but
like,
it's still
but-
majority
no,
white
but-
people.
No, but either way, like literally a lot of black people. Because like sometimes we look at the world in a myopic way. So like I'm around just mainly rich black people all the time.
Yeah.
So like I can just think, because I'm around artists, I'm around G-Man, I'm around actors, I'm around the black people my kids grow up around. Like they're around lawyers, actors, musicians, this doctors. They're like, so really.
Yeah, but
and
that's
truly-
because you've leveraged
no, but
that
wait,
in your
no, but
life.
what I'm saying is, so really, when I look at the world and when I think of black people, I don't even think there's any poor black people in the world. Like, no, but
he's saying because of who he's around.
if I, but
You know what I'm
sometimes,
saying?
no, I'm not saying me. I'm saying like, if sometimes I get caught up in thinking that everybody lives the life that we live. Like, but then when like, there's some really poor black kids out there,
Yeah, but
man.
then his point still stands there.
No, but his point is like actually that working class is more representative of the white experience than the black experience. No, it's not. There's like a lot of black people living in abject poverty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like when you think of shitty, bro, when you go to the Lewishams, these like, let's look at the areas that I'd say we are, you know, there's a lot of us in the Brixtons, the Lewishams, all of this, you know what I mean? Those are still areas that are predominantly white and even down to the poverty level. I'm saying there's, you know what I mean? We definitely have that going on for us and it goes on across the board. But with us, there's something else that is causing us to behave a certain way. You know what I mean? When you look at it and you're like, cool. You know what I mean? If we're represented at, I think the guy said 70%. I'm not sure if the numbers are accurate.
Yeah, I think the numbers are garbage.
I think
as well.
I think he's.
I wouldn't say they're garbage. The murders are in London are high. London very high, bro. Because if you look at the,
he said knife crime.
No, he didn't say knife crime. He just said murder. It's a murder.
Yeah, but
like
guys,
70%.
I go back to this.
What's crime watch?
Based in fair, because you're gonna try and kill me, or I'm gonna try and kill you, because I'm fearful that you're gonna do that to me.
And also,
like, it's out of fear.
No,
bro.
I'm not like, there's that as well. Also, what is never spoken about is white people killing white people.
Yeah.
Ever.
He didn't mention that.
yeah, but like I'm saying, with us,
and
we're
white people be white people be killing people.
But
because-
knife crime is like, but
that's
with
what I'm
us, with
saying.
white people, it's the kids. With us, bro,
Yeah,
we're
you
overrepresented
specify
in
knife
the
crime.
children. Like when we look at the kids, you know what I mean?
I
For
don't know if
us-
he specified knife crime, you know. I think he just
What did he
specified-
say?
I think it's just a
Yeah,
murder.
bro, it's talking about murders, but he's speaking about the kids. When you look at, because even when I was looking at the number of murders of, you know, when you look at
Or just Google it. Let's Google the murder rate.
in London, at some point, I think there had been like 15 teenagers that had been murdered or whatever. And
That's
I
a
think-
lot because London's not that big.
Yeah, and I think almost all of them were black. You know what I mean? So when you look at that, you're like, there's a problem here. You're like, we do not make up enough of the, you know what I mean, population for us to make up the majority of that number. So you're like, so what is going on here? And we need to fix it. And sometimes, you know what I mean, we like to, you know, to pass the buck. You know what I mean? There's, you know what I mean? Sometimes we have to sit here and I'm like, as a community, I feel like overall as black people, you know what I mean, we love to glorify badness. And that for me, I feel is a problem with a lot of these kids, you know what I mean? Being cool, being bad, being greasy, being this. For me, that's something I feel is a problem as well.
That's
But
why
you
the
know-
sidemen and these people are important.
Oh,
No,
exactly.
but do you know
That's
why
why
though?
KSI is important.
Yeah, do you know
That's
what
why that's why like these people who are making millions and doing these things and everyone can see, raw. But my brethren who's a bad boy hasn't even got half of what you got. They're the new bad boys.
Yeah, representation.
But
It's
it's
the
crazy because
representation.
we have all of that now and these numbers are still crazy.
I don't know if that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if that works because
Yeah.
I just feel like if you don't associate with them, man, you're not gonna listen to them.
What do you mean?
I-
He's just saying that there's a different outlet for
There's
you.
a different-
100%. But I feel like the kids that might listen,
The
to
kids
them,
that
man,
relate
anyway,
to that
they
are
weren't gonna
different.
do nothing anyway.
Youths who go and punch up and stab up a youth will go and watch the KSI fight. Don't ever get it twisted. Because everybody's watching.
I don't know.
I
man.
think-
don't know,
I
man.
think-
I don't think you.
No, what I'm trying to say to you is, for example, the youths that are gonna maybe be at home listening to Beater Squad and them, man. I don't think of the kids that are gonna be on road chefing. Like
I just think
I can't speak unanimously, but like, do you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
I'm with you on the other layers to it in regards to like poverty, parents being absent, and obviously them not finding. Because I don't like, even when I go back to like
Even like a
when I was
community
in
as
school,
well.
I mentioned like a
Like
community.
a community as well.
When I was in school, I still had like man in year 8, man in year 9, man in year 10, man in year 11 checking for me. Even if they were on whatever they were on, it was still like, yo,
Stay out
of this or do you know what I mean? So we still had that community element, even if it was like in a big bro or an older in the ends, whereas the youngers don't even respect the elders nowadays.
Do you know what it is as well, though? I think like we're skipping around things as well. Like it's a lot to do with the black fathers. Like, do you understand? Because a lot of the black fathers are missing in the house. Like the mums are doing so much. Like the black mums are like working, looking after the house, shopping, cooking, doing this, doing that, doing this, and the dads need to be there. Like the dads need to be like. The thing is, you're saying about Femi, like you're very hands on with your boys. Your boys know they can't mess around with you. They know like, blood, don't try it. It's that, like they know you don't have to raise your hand, but the respect's there because they see how hard you work. They see the things you take them around the world. They listen to you on meetings. They're inspired by their dad. So them being in the room and seeing their dad speaking to this superstar and their dad's doing this and my dad's done this and my dad's took me here. You ain't got time for badness, you know. When your dad's, and then at the same time, your dad's a strict African man.
Yeah, but
hold on. If we're going to have a serious conversation, let's talk about it then. So if a guy gets a girl pregnant and he's going to become a dad, what's his decision there? Because that's where it starts from.
Look after you. Be in your
No,
kids' life.
that's what I'm saying. Because a lot of men are seeing it as, I don't want to be with the woman, so I'm not gonna be in the youth
Yeah,
life.
but you know what? I genuinely think you should be beating no girl without a dom if you don't want to be with her.
That's-
No, but okay. no,
Let's
there's-
just if we're gonna go deep,
but Nicky-
you know you can get her pregnant. Bro.
No, but then that's. You
But
can
let's
use
say
the argument
we're
for-
there.
We get that.
We're already there.
That's
We're already there.
We're already there.
Yeah, we know because the only reason I'm saying that
people
is
get excited.
and also a lot of us know man who have been in that situation. I was in that situation, for example. But I'm saying there's another crossroad where a man, and I've heard bare man say this. So it's not me saying it. I'm pretty sure you lot have as well. Where they're like, if I just can't speak to her no more, like she's not hearing me. I can't see my youth. She's not letting me see my youth. Blah blah.
That doesn't happen.
So when they get to that point, as a man, you know, certain men don't have the fight in them to be always arguing with their baby.
I don't think it's a fight as well. Sometimes some guys don't have the coping mechanisms because we don't show emotion. Like we're very guarded. So when you're getting to a point where like it's breaking point, because if I keep doing this, I don't know what's gonna happen to me. I've never been in this space before. I'm checking out.
But if love hasn't been taught to you from your father how to love a woman, you're not gonna know how to love a woman.
Yeah, but men don't.
Like just like
men-
you got. It's a learning
But
mechanism.
men don't teach that, bro. Not in a rude way. As in, like men don't teach that.
What do you
bro.
mean? Like,
Bro, it's
cool,
not.
cool.
It's modeling. It's not something.
It's modeling.
No.
No,
A man can teach you son how to.
Do you know what it
move
is?
correct.
It's
Trust me.
modeling.
No,
Trust me.
It's modeling. Yeah, it's what he said.
Teaching your son how to move correct and showing him love. I mean, showing him how to love is different. Because,
No,
for
because
example,
you go by example.
For example, like if you're looking at the model African mum and dad,
There's no love there, bro.
like there's love there, but it's the
There's
love.
no
visible love, yeah.
The love of the woman is making sure the husband fed, and the love of the man is making sure the house is looked after.
Yeah.
It's not terms of Hollywood love.
That's
Or,
No, but
So
I'm not
we're
I'm
gonna
not
see
even
that.
talking about
So as you
Hollywood.
grow up, I'm
Do you
going
know
to
what?
think, let
Do
me
you
look
know-
after my family.
My
and
bro,
do you know what I'm saying?
do you know what it is? The African love is responsibility.
Yeah,
So they show love through responsible behavior.
yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So they model responsibility.
Yeah.
So even like the way I model love to my children is always going to be elements of that, because actually I'm a responsible person. There's certain things that I try not to swear because I've got kids. You never see me do certain things online.
You don't need to tell
You
them.
never even see me do that. There's certain restrictions I put on myself. He's heard me say it better. I'm like, I've got sons, man. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, not because I don't want to, just because I know I've got sons.
think-
And if my
Your
sons
son-
ever saw me doing this, I can't even chat to them about certain things again.
yeah.
It's like the Jada and Will Smith situation. Their kids. But I'm saying like
She's
your
finished.
kids. I don't care how rich or famous, they're seeing this unfold.
But they're different though, man.
No,
Hollywood is a mad place, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
I mean,
They're
that's why a lot of these Hollywood kids are fried.
Yeah, they're making up a lot. Like you're moving, brother. You're moving the goalpost now, because before it was that, alright, cool, I want that Will and Jada love. No, I don't even know what that means, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what are you saying?
Now we're like, we don't want that
Bro,
Will and Jada love.
she's saying, that act that he did at the Oscars, right?
Yeah.
She didn't warrant that, but that's what made him get back together. I'm like, what? Oscar, like,
Man said, don't talk to my wife. She said, rah, we ain't
Why?
called each other
She
that for
said,
7
why?
years. I can't lie, look of everything.
I'm confused.
Hey,
I'm
hey,
confused.
do you know what made me laugh?
I slap man on your behalf.
Hey,
You're
wait,
telling- and
wait.
You're going to tell people
Hey,
when you heard
Yeah, but
me
you know
say
what? I was
my
speaking to
wife,
someone
I was
today.
shocked.
They were saying they think this was all orchestrated for them to just all make money.
Yeah,
To sell a book.
Like, I think that Will and
No, but-
her
okay,
are
but-
like
okay, but-
because they're writing any. I don't know.
but Chris,
Man.
Nah, it's too much.
when did Chris Tributo? Was it before or after?
Mad thing.
He's like they were
She's playing everything.
She said
She
separated.
used to be a drug dealer.
That's I think that's.
Oh, now she's talking about
Tupac nearly proposed.
Chris
most,
moved
man.
her when
She's
they
doing
she
the
needs
most.
to. She's doing the
Bro,
most.
one thing that's pissing me off out all of this year
Yeah.
is Tupac can't defend himself. Homegirl
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
the reason why he done he was doing the barley thing because he had
It's
alopecia.
mad. It's
What?
mad.
Tupac never told me that.
It's too much. It's too
Tupac's
much.
like, hey, yo.
It's mad.
But, to go back
It's too much.
to go back to what you were saying about, you know what I mean, the fathers in the home, essentially, we can actually genuinely say, we have friends, you know what I mean, who have their dads in their lives. We have friends who don't have their dads in their lives. And there's certain people where you can look at and you can tell, like, if you were to put a certain number of people into a space, you could sometimes, based on how some of the people in your life behave, you could pick out the ones that don't have their fathers in their lives. So I think it's something that we sleep on, because nowadays, we can look at, a lot of people's mums have done amazing jobs. But there's also that thing where you can only, and this is something I genuinely believe, for the most part, you can only learn how to be a man from a man simply from watching. And a lot of kids don't have that. You know what I mean? You have people that have great relationships with their mum, but you have dudes that don't know how to regulate their tempers, their anger and stuff like that, because they've never been around a man, you know what I mean, long enough to see how he deals with, how a man deals with women, how a man deals with problems when things happen. You know what I mean? When this happens, how do we regulate this? So a lot of, you know what I mean? So a lot of dudes never have that. And sometimes, you know, with these guys, because they've never had a man, which you would look at as a protector, some of those people then adopt that for themselves. And that's why you see some certain guys get hypermasculine, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they have to become men young. It's like all the rappers that we listen to, like, it's like, that was when I became a man. I was 12 years old. And so they have to become almost like the boys then becomes like, they become husbands for their mums because they like, you know what, I want to do this because I want to look after.
Call me.
Yeah, because they want to look after their mums.
Yeah.
And the mums then feed that because they're like, oh, you're so,
my little soldier.
Wait. One second. But what you're saying, Keith, do you think what I think is another thing that's important as well, that even if back in the day a lot of men didn't have dads, they still had
uncles
and a network around.
There were still men.
You had your uncles, your granddad.
Because remember, Tazer Black people before, like, I'm not saying, I don't know now, but like our mums and dads and whatever had quite a few brothers and sisters. Do you know what I'm saying? So if your dad wasn't there, an uncle badge up. I mean,
for me, my dad died when I was 1, like, but I just always had these strong
uncles around,
like you know,
so
my stepdad
and father.
my dad's for my like the first like 6 or 7 years of my life. Like, they were selling to me that my dad's older brother was my dad until no one even told me my dad died. I figured it out myself. Nigerians are tapped, you know.
But
so also, how do you bring that? How do you bring that conversation?
To a 1-year-old.
They're tapped. I didn't even know. I know, but it's mad though, isn't it?
Even thing, you know.
But isn't it mad that I just figured it out myself?
I read somewhere. Yeah, it is mad. Someone should have sat you down. But I read somewhere that Kerry Washington just recently found out
that her dad's not her dad.
No, literally. So what happened was, like, my dad died obviously when I was 1. I didn't even know when my dad died. But then my dad's older brother, they used to make me call him my dad. So I used to call this guy my dad, yeah. And then my man got married. I'm like, but he's not marrying my mum. And my mum's my mum. Like, you know, like, my mum's my, like, she's my...
the maths at 7,
but my mum didn't even live... So I lived with my grandparents in Nigeria, in a town called Modakeke in Osun State when I was younger. And my mum lived in, like, Ibadan. And then she lived in, like different places, like, after my dad died. But, like, I was born in Lagos. And then when my dad died, my mum sort of moved around. And then after a while, moved in with my grandparents. And, like, but this man was like my dad, man. He got married. I'm like, nah, this can't be my dad. He's like married to a next woman. Like, or does he have 2 wives? And then I clocked, him and my mum's never been intimate. Like, this is not making sense. I'm doing all this maths here as a little kid by myself. And then I'll bump into people in my town that will tell me stories about my dad and how much of a great man he was and like blah, blah, blah. Like, and I'm thinking, no, that's not. Do you know what I mean? So, like, from other people...
So no one's ever sat you down and told you?
No, until recently. Until I became an adult. My mum's... Obviously, me and my mum have spoken about it and stuff like that.
Do you think that's sick, though? Because I've had these conversations with my mum where, like, stuff that I thought was what it was at the time,
bro,
she's telling me now and it changes my perspective on bare
Should I
things.
tell you what? I realised, like, you know, I've got this photo album with pictures of my dad and my mum. Like, my dad died when he was 30. And so, like, they're young, innit? They're all in their 20s. Like, my mum's in I feel like, for me, the version of my mum that I know, I don't even really know my real mum. Like, the real version of that, because she's had to evolve into this other person.
Changed her as well.
Like, because of, like, everything that has happened to her in life. And so, like, when I look at those photos, they, like, look like my dad's smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, I can't even imagine my mum being married to someone that smokes cigarettes.
But you know what's crazy though? You know what's crazy?
Them are trendy though.
But
Do you know, like, bro, my man's chilling.
Flares.
He's got his top. Flares.
Yeah,
he's like got no. He's not. His shirt's not buttoned up. Like, he's just
chilling.
Like, I'm like, I can't even imagine my mum being with this brother. And then my mum had tattoos. Yeah, this is hilarious. Yeah, my mum had like these lines on her arm, like this lines. Yeah, and like my missus is gone. You see them, like, your mum's got tattoos. I goes, nah, my mum don't have tattoos. They're tribal marks. She's like, no, they're not tribal marks. They're tattoos, bro. Like, and then one day I've gone to my mum. I got mum, like, you see what you got on your arm? She's like, yeah, I did when I was young. Like, I didn't show it to my parents. And they're like, I was like, but I'm just like, the thing is, like, it's like the version of like, and it's kind of sad really because it's like, in a way, it's not sad because obviously she's developed into this responsible person that has supported me even still this day. Massively supports me even like in my thought process and my work that I do. Sometimes she doesn't even understand, but she gives me the best advice. But the point is, like, you know, that version just remained in that photo album. It's like some next version of my mum.
I think though that a thing that we're missing as well is that like it's kids been having kids. So like we want people to act a certain way, but they're children themselves. Because if you look at our parents, they had us very young, and my mum had my brother very young. So they've become adults in teenage lives. And even today, like, you see all these young girls, they're pregnant at 18, they're pregnant at 15. And then we're expecting them to move and bring their son up to be like a man, or the guy is like 15 and he's a dad.
But the difference...
How can you be 15 and then teaching your youth?
Yeah, but I feel like...
But that's not all the time though.
Yeah,
that's
exceptional.
But it happens a lot. No, it happens more than you think, bro. There's a whole... There's been... Look at the show on MTV. It's been going for years, bro. Teen mums. Like, been going on for...
No, but I feel like back in the day, I feel like, you know, like the black community used to be like other communities back in the day. You know, like Asian people or other communities, it's like, there's like a blueprint, as in like, if you get pregnant or whatever, you got to get married. Or you have to settle, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like within the community now, that's missing now.
Anything goes now.
Anything goes now. Because that's
every girl wants to be a bad boy.
If you look at
bro, it's not. It's the truth, bro.
But that's not everyone.
It's not everyone.
Not everyone. If you look at
every
sexy mums and stuff.
If you look at every community, for example, it's kept some type of tradition in terms of taboos, in a sense. As in, like, for you to behave, as in like, you can do this but behave. It comes with consequences. Where within our community, I don't think it's there.
Do you know, wait.
Yeah, but
so a lot of these communities that you lot talk about, yeah, they're quite uniform communities. So like Indian community is like they're all from one country, yeah? Like then you have any community, or like they're all Muslim.
You got Pakistan, you got...
Yeah, but like, no, but I'm talking about...
the examples that you're drawing from,
a lot of the examples
they're all from, like, there'll be like an Indian man, Indian girl.
Yeah,
Indian families come together.
And so like, the thing is, the black community, like, it's very fragmented. There isn't one. It's like I hate the phrase. I like the idea of Black British or like the black community, but it's so flawed, yeah. In that actually the experiences are so completely different. That like from the different people that make. So that there isn't. You can't really talk about.
But the thing is,
do you know what it is? You can't really talk about a singular black community, yeah. When Slim was coming up here, his uncles were putting it on raves. When I was coming up, when Slim was 14, he was DJing at parties, big shoops, yeah? When I was coming up, I was going night vigil. Yeah. That's not the same. When I was 14, I was going night vigil with my mum.
Still going to hall parties?
No. I'm not saying I wasn't going to hall parties. I'm saying it's like you can't talk about, like the way we are brought up, you can't talk about a singular black community when there isn't a single idea of what it means in the way that we're brought up.
No, but I'm not saying it should be a singular community, but I'm saying...
But we are always referred to in the newspapers as the black... But like the Nigerian community is different to the Jamaican community is different too.
But forget the papers. I'm talking about, for example, on this pod, we can talk about, when I was younger, my mum and dad used to, and then someone else would be black, I had that same experience. I'm like, yes, there are different, for example, there are differences in terms of Africans, West Indians, whatever, but sometimes
they are all the same, really.
There are things that put us together in terms
of...
But
we underplay those differences, though, in the way that we're brought up.
I'm not saying underplayed it, but I'm saying, for example, even the times in this pod where we might talk about our parents being strict, yeah? And then I even hear West Indian people sometimes say, no, I don't like the way, like, Africans make it seem like our parents weren't strict. Because there were a lot of West Indian parents that were super strict. Like,
super strict.
Even, for example, Brent, I can use Brent's parents, for example. They're strict. But people might have this notion where Africans are strict, West Indians are not. So I'm like, sometimes, no, there's way more similarities than differences. But the problem is, sometimes when shit hits the fan, people can just be like, yeah, we're all different. We are all different, but at the same time, if for example,
at the end of the day, we're all black.
No, but I don't think there's a singular black community.
Wait, one second, let me finish. There's not a singular Asian community, but
there isn't a singular white community.
Yo, fam, let me finish, man. Please. My thing is this, in terms of, if you look at Bangladeshi, Pakistani, whatever. What brings them together is religion. No,
Not necessarily, because they're all different religions.
Cool, but I'm saying, but in terms of what the similarities will be, what they.
They're different.
No, what ones? No, not that. But for example, if you've got a Muslim, you got Hindu, whatever. All the Muslims are acting in a particular way because of their religion.
Yeah.
All the Hindus, yes. All
Bro,
the
there's
Hindus,
different types.
Brother,
The
let me
Muslims
finish what I'm
within
saying,
themselves
man.
don't get along.
Well, let him land.
You cannot get along as a Muslim, but if you're reading the holy book and it's telling you about marriage, whatever, and certain things, you're going to abide by that book. Christians, for example, we have this. If that's the case, then West Indians, Nigerians, they're all getting married. There's some kind of thing that's bringing you to the same thing.
No, it's like colonialization by white
whatever
people,
it is, that shows
conversion to Christianity.
There are similarities. So I'm saying, so my thing is this, in terms of doing the right
I
thing
think
in
there's
inverted
definitely similarities
commas.
because you can go to Jamaica and feel like you're in Nigeria.
No, I'm
Obviously-
not. I'm not
obviously
saying.
there's-
I'm
obviously,
saying.
there's things that can be completely different.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
language, your culture, your tribe, all different things. That's definitely going to have an impact in your personal journey with your own family. I think in general, as Black people, we all have similar things, no matter where you come from. Because
Similar goals.
But I think what Femi's
similar
saying is,
aspirations.
because we're put out there as, one big homogenous group of people, it becomes very difficult, to have certain conversations where, we're expected to speak for all of us, under one voice when there's so many things. And to take you a little bit further, when you think of, you have Nigerians, Zimbabweans, Ghanaians, even when you go to Nigeria, it still splits off because, Yoruba people do things differently from this group and that group and that group. And that's kind of what the issue is for us because they just lump us into
I feel like the problem I have, yeah.
So do you think that's our problem?
No,
though?
Slim,
Do you
wait.
think
No,
that's
it's
the
just
Slim, wait. So like the problem I have, yeah. Italians get to be Italian, not white.
Mhm.
French people get to be French, not white. Germans get to be Germans. Like, and so on and so forth.
But Italian people will still say they're white. though.
No, bro. They'll
but
say they're
people
Italian
speak of
before
them
they're
as-
white. Do you get what's white people?
But Nigerians will say we're Nigerian before
No,
they say we're
no,
black.
but the point I'm making is actually because like the identities are all merged into one, and everyone says, "Oh, we're just Black," like, or the Black community, or this. There isn't a singular way to be Black, and that's what makes it complicated.
No, 100%.
It's complicated. I'm not saying that we're not one.
It's like they thought all Black.
I'm Pan-African, you
They
know.
thought all Black
I
people
just-
came from Jamaica.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm from Jamaica.
That wasn't
Like,
true.
literally, I just landed from Jamaica the other day. I go to Jamaica like once a year. Like, do you know? Like, I'm not saying like, I think all Black people. I've been to the Caribbean this year more than I've been to Africa this year. This 2023. So my point is not that I'm anti. Like, I think we should all be separated. My point is, it's difficult to talk about a singular Black community, and the Black community should take responsibility for this and that and that and that when we're not as uniform as a community in Britain
That's true.
as we once were, all as a group.
But that's what I'm saying.
There's no homogeny.
But you said as we once were, so we once were.
Yeah, because do you know what?
So
It was.
I'm
Do
saying-
you know what?
Because racism, because when we came here, we were all new.
No,
So
and
you had
also,
the Africans that come here, you had the Windrush
No,
that
no,
come
but
here,
Slim.
and we were fighting.
No,
you had to come together
Slim.
to fight off all the racism what was happening.
Slim, there's nuance though. So like you had because if we want to really get into it, you had the Windrush that came here. That was the first time Black people came here en masse.
Yeah.
Like lots of Black people.
Yeah.
And then you had the Africans that came here that were elite Africans that came to study at universities, right? That came in the 60s and the 70s. And then you had more Black people coming along the way. So then you had Black people, poorer Black people from Africa coming in the 80s and 90s, coming to work, right? In the 90s, like newer Africans coming, like, are not coming to go uni.
Yeah.
They're coming to do cleaning jobs, whatever jobs they can get. And then in the late 90s, when I came here, I came in 97, there was that influx of Somalian community coming in. So then you got lots of East Africans coming. Like, do you get what I'm saying? So there's nuance to how long Black people have lived here, what the communities are, like what those communities do. So like, for instance, like when you talk about the Black community, are you talking about, is that so you're talking about Jamaicans and Ethiopians and Nigerians? And are you talking about Christian ones or Muslim? Like, so there's a lot of nuance. There's a lot more nuance to it than what we make out. And so when people are like, the leaders of the Black communities need to stand, do you know who the leaders of the Black communities are? Like, white people or Indians, because actually the leaders in the community is like the teachers at school. And a lot of the teachers at primary school are young white teachers that my kids have been through. Like my older son's in year 6 now. Like most of the teachers that he's had throughout his school life have been white. And then when you go into state schools, a lot of the teachers are young white kids that have moved from outside London, that have gone to uni and have decided to get a job as a teacher in London, and they don't really know about the community. And then the police, which is predominantly white. These are the people that, and then when you go to the shops, it's the Indian guys that owns the shop. And so like when you're talking about the communities that the black community has to interact with, it's not just us, you know, it's not a black problem. It's a everyone problem.
And I think that goes on to the point when Keith was talking about poverty, abject poverty, and like white people and whatever. And it's like, yeah, you might have a lot of white people that are poor, but you know, like when you look at the median income for the average house, or you look at what the average house in terms of assets that they have, like black people at the bottom of that list. Like, so yes, you do have poor white people, yes, but for example, I think we spoke about in a pod before, people leaving stuff behind, like grandma left man a house, like, so we can sell that, and do you know what I'm saying? He had life insurance. My mum, do you know what I'm saying? Whereas within our community, like, I was talking to one of our brethren yesterday, and then she was like, yeah, I'm second generation here. I was like, raw, I'm first. Like, as in, I was the first one born here. She was like, no, my parents were born here. So it's kind of like, whereas you're going against people that have been here for...
And this is what I'm saying. We need to talk about the nuance about what the Ethiopians coming in the late 90s and the Somalians and all of, and that for a while, black people pretending Somalians weren't black.
Yeah.
I listen to all the videos I watch, mostly Somalis. It's Somalis saying they're not black.
Yeah.
No, but
I can't lie. I don't remember man saying Somali people weren't black. I just remember them not being like, there was a stigma where people used to that say they weren't cool.
No, but the point is that
I don't remember them saying they weren't black. I've never looked at them like they weren't black.
People used to say no, like they're Somalians.
Yeah.
Like they're not black.
Yeah. You know, like
no,
but
Somali distance themselves from black people.
Say that.
But maybe they should have done that, because look, now you call them Somali, like you want us to call Nigerian and you want us to call Ghanaian.
No, but
that's what I'm saying. So now it works.
Ultimately, the point is that we need to look at the nuance of what the composition of what the black community looks like before we start generalizing and saying the black community should do this. And we need to look at who has power over the experience of these young black men. And it's not just black people. So when people, like white people, go on the news and everyone's like, yeah, man, the black community. Do you know what? It's not just black people, because it's the white teacher, it's the white police officer, it's the Indian man that runs the shop.
Hold on.
I hear what you're saying.
Wait. Can I say something quickly? I was going to say, no, the point that you're saying is a sick point, and I was going to piggyback off that, yeah? Also, what we need to kind of focus on is like our kids, and I'm talking about our black kids, whether they're Nigerian, Caribbean, Ghanaian, Somali, whatever, yeah? How do they deal with people of authority? Because I think that's the issue as well. Like, these kids nowadays feel like they can just talk to the teacher anyhow because she's white, or talk to the boss shopkeeper anyhow because he's Indian. Even that, that's not cool.
That's not cool.
And I feel like, you know why that's dope? Because it's a conversation I've had many times. I feel like, you know, in our community, they're not as a whole, but I'd say there's a big chunk of people that have an issue with authority. And for some people, I'd say with good reason. But I always say, if you teach your kids, you know what I mean, not to respect authority, you need to then regulate them when they need to be regulated. But then what I find happens is you have all of these kids that talk anyhow to people, but when they get home, they're also then not regulated. You know what I mean? So now there's no authority system. So at home, there's no regulation. Outside, there's no regulation. So you now have these kids that don't fear nobody. There's those parents where a kid can do something bad at school. The mum's there, she's not having it. Don't talk to my kid like this, like that, da. So that kid in their mind now, they know that nobody can chat to
me. But the African parents do the opposite.
Wait, it goes back to your point as well. So imagine you have a child, yeah, who goes back to your point as well. Lack of fear. They're like, they don't fear anything, yeah? Exactly. Just their mum.
And no
their mum goes back to Marvin's point. She's a bad parent. So your mum telling you that, oh, don't worry, Jamie, everything you done was all right. But it's not all right.
No, but wait. There's the opposite, though. There's the African parent that don't believe no matter what. Yeah, I said, yeah, the teacher was right. When I was in school...
No, but they don't want stress.
No. You see, you know, like, the teacher could say, Femi blinked in class. Why were you blinking? Like, it was a different... And so I think there's a happy medium to be had, because sometimes, actually, some of these teachers are racist, and they are, like, literally, imagine this, yeah? My kids have had to... I've moved house recently, not long ago, about a year and a bit ago. So my kids are going to this new school. And Their mum teaches at some next school. Some kid their mum teaches at a secondary school not too far from this school. Some kid from the school does work experience at this primary school and then goes back to their mum and goes, you know what, yeah, the teacher was my son's been having problems with one of his particular teacher at the time. And the teacher, I had a meeting with her one time. She was trying to say something about I had to shut her down quickly because she was trying to suggest that we were responsible parents. And I was just like, I don't know who you think you're meeting, but like, I went to LSE, she went to Cambridge. I don't know.
Chill out.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Anyway, after that, this work experience kid goes, yeah, I went into the class. The teacher was being really mean to your son.
Because of the way you kind of checked
No, even before that.
Oh, okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? So sometimes when you've got the African parents that goes in there,
Or militant vibes.
vads up the kid, like sometimes these teachers are racist.
Yeah.
Do you get, just like the police are racist.
And that's going to affect your
But
kid
I
in
think-
the long
Yeah.
run as well.
But I think to my point, I was like, as a parent, you know what I mean? You need to kind of have a situation where I had a conversation with my boy and he was talking about he went into school and his kid has gotten into trouble. You know, his son has gotten into trouble or whatever. And the teacher's like, he's this, and this. And he's, you know what I mean? We want him to apologize. So his dad, you know, was like, you know, what's going on? What happened here? And the kid was like, I didn't do that. I'm not going to apologize. So for him, the way it works is literally, I've taught my kids that, you know what I mean? If you've not done anything wrong, you don't apologize. You only apologize when you have done something wrong. So you know there's that balance where your kid knows where the boundaries are, where the rules are, where the thing works. And because of how you raise your kids and how everything is at home, it's now easier to regulate things on the other end. So now, if your kid does something in school, right, because of all the boundaries you have, you're like, this don't sound right.
This can't be
Because
it.
I know my kid and I know what we've, you know, have in place. There's these kids, bro, at home where anything goes, where the parents come in, say whatever. He's like, you don't even know what your you is like at home. It's like certain times where there's people we know where literally, this person's died or this person's in prison and their mum comes out and he was like, oh my God, he was a good boy, he was this, and you're thinking, who? Yeah, so-and-so. You know, one of those ones where those parents where they will refuse to believe that they're, you know what I mean? You know, they're blind.
These fire
When they're blind to, you know what I mean, who their kids are. So they don't regulate things the way they're supposed to because my kid can never do no wrong. How dare you speak about my son like that?
We need to round up. But my thing is, I think it goes back to community again in terms of growing up. Like, if you're only accountable to your parents, for me personally, that's a problem. Because you should be able to get bad up by an uncle. Or like an auntie.
Definitely.
Even a shopkeeper that knows your mum.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you go to a shop all the time and he sees you doing nonsense, you should be able to say to you, oh, hey,
I agree with you.
You know your mum won't like that, you know?
100%.
There should be that.
100%.
Whereas now, for example, if that shopkeeper now says to that boy or girl, blah, 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 the mum or dad will come in later and say, don't talk to my kid like, who you talking to?
No,
It's
I agree with
this
you.
person,
And I think
this person is your eyes when you're not there.
I agree with
also,
you.
I think kids should be going to Sunday school. Like when I was like, you had to go to church. Like, it wasn't
Yeah,
even
but
like,
not everyone's Christian
I
now.
know, I'm talking
That's
about,
changed.
I'm just
You're
saying,
saying
I'm saying,
something.
I'm saying
But
something.
that goes
innit?
back,
Obviously, everybody's
that goes
not
back to
Christian.
my point again.
That's
as
the
in, like,
point.
that's why
There's
it's
no
the people all
balance.
over the place because like things like that kind of kept you
Of
in
course.
Do you
check.
know why? Do you know why that's sick as well? Yeah, because you got to
course.
remember, yeah, if you go to this place every some
Sunday.
evenings or
Yeah,
Sundays,
Sunday or
yeah,
prayer
you
meeting.
build a community with the parents there as well. So your kids are kind of around other kids, where you can build a community around the parents. as
I
well.
go to church, you know.
No,
I
I'm
get
not
it.
saying you don't. I'm
I
just saying.
know, but what
I'm
you-
I'm
I
talking
want
about
to
the
see
community.
and the teachings in your
And it
head.
doesn't have to be church. It could
Yeah,
be mosque. It
something,
could be
but I think
whatever.
that community side of things is what's missing. Like,
No,
should
no,
be
I
able to
agree.
call-
I agree with you. But I think we should come out of this thing because we don't live in American ghettos.
Yeah.
We should come out of these things where we think there's a singular black community that black people live in this black bubble because black people do not. Our kids interact with people outside of their race daily. And so actually when there's a problem within the black community, it's not just the black community's problem, it's a whole of society's problem because our kids are rubbing shoulders with people from every single other
But
community.
our kids are the ones that are killing each other.
Is the point
So
he was
that's
trying
the
to
point
make.
he's trying to make. So
Yeah.
that's kind
And
of
that's where with us-
because if our kids are rubbing shoulders with the other kids, why are they not doing it?
And that's with us. It's something.
Or
And
why
like I
you
said,
not killing them kids?
Well, yeah.
there we go. And we need to figure out. I'm not saying they should.
Yeah, that's a can't lie.
No.
I know.
I'm saying-
No. You know how people are on the
That's a
internet.
sick- That
I'm
pod
just
is-
saying. You know how people are on the internet. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I'm not saying you should kill other colour kids. I'm saying that if that's the case,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
kids
be
from all other colours will be dying. I'm
Yeah.
saying it's not. So.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I hear you.
But I think I've had that point before where it's like black people feel comfortable doing something that looks to someone who looks like them because they know the consequences. As if I move to Taser, you ain't gonna tell no one.
Yeah.
Whereas if I stab that white you,
He's gonna
you
go
might go to the police.
And the
Or
police.
what-
But
they
you know
call
what?
it.
Another thing as well, the
Yeah,
police
that
are gonna
too.
do more of a job to solve that crime.
100%.
Do you understand? We forget
It's
about that.
layered. It's layered though.
It's
It's
layered.
layered. It's layered,
if
man.
16 white kids got stabbed, listen, there'll
It's
be a task
layered.
force, bro.
It's layered. It's
Everyone's
layered.
getting it.
It's layered. This conversation can go on for
But
time.
I'm
But
saying they did have, you know what I mean,
Listen,
loads of
hour
task
of the
forces for
pod.
certain things, and people kind of called it, you know, racist essentially.
We got to round up because it's to finish at 11, but guys, I know you've got a couple projects out. Can you
so
just
yeah.
let people know about the projects?
So we've got a film called Trapping, which is on the Drop, a dot movie, which is our own platform that we're using the film to launch the
Oh,
platform.
I heard you say the drop. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Drop dot movie, that's mine and Nicky's platform.
That is not what you think it is. So go and watch
So,
it.
yeah,
After we
so-
had this deep
I mean, like-
conversation.
I
they
mean,
were
like-
yeah, trapping's out.
Essentially, Trapping
Sounds
is
mad.
about this kid like goes county lines and realizes that it's not what it's cut out to be. And for me, it's like probably the most authentic portrayal of like
That
nitty
lifestyle.
gritty of that lifestyle. And if anything, it's an uncomfortable watch. And then we've got Marvin in his
Come on. But sorry, just trapping, yeah. You got Abracadabra in that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
man.
who
That's my
else is
little
in it?
bro. So like, it's all new actors.
Oh,
Like,
fair.
so it's like really Abra. Like a lot of the
cameo from CBiz.
C-Biz is in it. Like Dylan Doffus is in it. Like me and Nicky have got like one scene each in it. So it's all like that. This is when people are like, oh, you only use rappers. How can I make a whole film? Abracadabra and the C-Biz are the only rappers in it. How can the film hold if it's just them? Do you get what I'm saying? Everyone else in it is
Yeah,
like literally all actors. It's just all new actors. Like, because I suppose for me, I wanted to create something like kidulthood. Like we were just all kids. Like the kid in it, the lead actor in it was 17. Like we auditioned him. Did an open tape from Instagram. Like we put out posts on Instagram. We did an open tape. We brought him in for another audition. And then he did a reading with Abra, and then he got the role. Like that's that. Like that.
Sick.
And so like, you know, a lot of the actors in that are like brand new, and it's like a new platform for them. And like we just wanted to create something that facilitate the new wave of actors into the industry.
And it's on the drop.
It's on
Yeah,
the
the
Drop
Drop.
Dot movie. And then
Dot
it's
movie.
going to be available. I'm going to make it, I think, we're talking about making it available on other platforms at the start of next month in November. So it'll be available on every Amazon, wherever you watch it.
Okay.
So the idea is that the drop will be like the first window.
Okay.
So we're going to make specific content and it goes just on the drop for like 2 months. And then after that, we'll make it available on other platforms. So it'll be the first window for some of our films.
Sick.
Dope.
Yeah.
And
And the second thing
And then
is
the
drunk.
second thing, we've got Drunk History, Black Stories.
Yeah.
And you're in that. Maybe you can talk about
That's
it.
your
Come
debut.
on, done now.
Was that your very first acting?
Yeah.
Man, he
well
was,
done.
Nicky was bigging you up in
No,
Antigua
no,
still.
no.
You had bare rows in it,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, man.
listen,
You
I
smashed
was
it.
in the
Smashed
bare
it.
days still.
Yeah, it's
Like-
just cold still.
You take it serious.
Yeah, no, I took it serious. Do you know what it is? So what it is basically the concept is Julia DeLuga is the host,
Yeah.
but it's a spin. It's that the guests tell the host a story, as opposed to the host knowing the story and telling the guests.
And they're drinking.
And they're drinking as well. So you're drinking. So you're telling the host, Julie, the story. So my story was about Fela Kuti's mum. What's it?
Fumilayo Ransom
Formula-
Kuti.
Yeah. So
What, are you reacting to this thing
Yeah.
as well?
no, I'm just no. So there'll be
So then
reenactment
Marvin's done this. Like he's coming, he's drunk. They're all waved. They're drinking.
He done both. You done both.
What are they
Yeah,
doing?
done both.
They're drinking.
After
What's that
tequila.
expensive tequila that they made us buy? That was like £400 a bottle.
Is it blue and white?
Not
Yeah,
not
1942.
in the
Oh.
shop, you know.
Right,
In the
1942.
shop, not.
There's peas,
No, it's two
inflation.
bills.
Bro.
Two bills.
Bro,
1942.
It wasn't 2 bills, bro.
It was. We bought 2. I bought it.
Bro, it was
No,
mad
but I
piece.
saw Julie with the Rala Zoo one. What's that?
Class Azul.
Class Zoo.
Listen,
Yeah.
whatever they were drinking, it
It's
was
expensive
mad
still.
expensive.
Yeah.
I was just like, why are we paying this? Like, can't we just get them Patron? But anyway, so like these lot were waved, and then obviously it was Marvin and Tolly, and they were talking about Formula Ransom Kuti. So
Yeah.
then you have them like this narrating the story, and then you have actors reenacting different bits. Obviously, we had different actors. We had Ronke, I can't remember Ronke's surname. She played Formula Ransom Kuti
Okay.
in that episode. And then Marvin texted me to say, oh, can I do acting in one of the other episodes? I goes, yeah, you can act, but not in your episode.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
got to be
he-
something different.
Yeah, you got to be something different. And then
That's where you saw the wig and the
Yeah,
the
and then
suit
the
and
stash and
and the
And you were loving it, though.
That man would that Tash. That
Nah, you
that
took
had
it.
me under pressure.
You know what?
now.
You took it serious, man. I respect that.
No, I respect. You went in because there was one day Marvin had to do one of his scenes, but then Tom Mucci come on set. Samson, Kayo, comments. All these actors, they're all on set.
I'm sitting in the chair, I look over, I see bare man.
You was under pressure. You was under pressure.
Hollywood
And
actors.
then Femi said to me, no pressure though. I said, no, it's calm.
Did you enjoy the process though?
Yeah, it was sick because to see it on the other side is different, do you know what I'm saying? Like it was very different. It was sick. Appreciate the opportunity.
Is it something that you'll do in the future?
Yeah, it's definitely something I'll do in the future. But it's just like to see it, like even just, you see me, I'm one of the people that I watch everything. So even the white guy that I acted with,
Yeah.
Brazy, because he was on the vibe of, how you doing? You're like, yeah, I'm cool, whatever. Like, first time I said, yeah. So you acted, yeah, cool. But then out the blue, when he gets into character, it was mad, bro.
Yeah.
It was like,
he just switched on.
like that, bro.
Yeah.
Like mad. I'm like, so I'm looking at that. So obviously I'm picking that from different people. And even just the way people just, it's mad. Acting's one of those things where like, I can, like, this pod, for example, how you act is natural because it's natural. The moment the camera comes in and says, all right, everyone act like you're on the pod. For some reason, your body just, like, now the camera's there, you're looking at what you're doing more. You're not being natural anymore because, I don't know why, but it's like, why wouldn't you be natural? Because
You
now
know you're being filmed.
yeah, so it's kind of there's that element of getting that out of your head that like try and be as natural as possible. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think that's mad.
And so,
But there's
yeah.
times where Femi will, like there's times when first time I started filming, like for the first 5-10 minutes, I weren't there, bro.
Because Femi's throwing you off.
Nah, because Femi was like,
That's my job to make him be good.
But
I thought he was
Femi-
throwing him off.
no, he wasn't throwing me off, but it was like, because Femi was like, because he had this iPad thing, you know, with the handles on either side. So you will see the scene
Live.
Yeah.
So Femi's like, nah, Marv, man, no. That just less, man. You ain't got to do like even if you fuck up, it doesn't matter. I'm like, right, cool. Then it got to a point where like I got to the stage where I was like, oh, cool. And then it
was flowing.
it flowed
Yeah, I
out.
think
Because you was
Yeah,
thinking
you're
about it
overthinking
too
it,
much.
yeah.
And the thing is about acting, right? Because it's like your natural state. So you have to pretend you're acting, but you're not acting.
Yeah.
And so like when I'm watching it, I'm like, raw, why is he thinking about everything? But I could see him thinking.
Yeah.
Because the camera it's close, bro. So I could see.
seeing you going through the motions.
I'm watching him thinking.
Because you're
I'm
probably
like,
remembering your lines
yeah,
as well.
I'm like,
Yeah. And
Marvin,
also,
what are you like?
and also I'm remembering everyone's there.
Yeah, and so I'm
Do you
thinking,
know what I'm saying?
no,
It's-
no, Marvin, no, you're complicating this. And I could see the thought process because I'm watching the monitor. I could see the thought process that he's going through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. You're like, oh, like it
Do
was
you know how
very
bad
interesting.
do you know how bad it is that going through that kind of situation as well? If you start speaking to actors, you'll realize that they all probably went through it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, it's normal.
But even the way that all actors, the way they do it is different because actor A might be like, I do it like this. Actor B says there's no right way or wrong way
Yeah,
to
it's
do
just
it.
how
It's
you
just
decide
you got
to do
to
it.
find
Yeah,
how
your
you
one.
do it.
And also remember, like what Marvin was doing that was different. It was doubly hard. Number one, he's not playing Marvin. It's not contemporary. He's playing historical figures.
Yeah.
And number two, like where he's wearing wigs and hair and makeup and all of that stuff and costume and all of that stuff that's not from this era. And number two, the thing about this series, the actors lip sync along to
What's already
the
been said.
narrator's
Yeah,
voice.
yeah.
No, big
So
up,
you're not
man.
saying it in your voice. So technically, we had some actors on set that just couldn't do it.
No,
Sure.
big up. You
No,
done
there was actors that
Nah,
couldn't.
Nicky was bigging you up.
Nah,
He said,
big
like,
up,
what
man.
you
Nah,
had to-
you done
Come
your
on,
thing,
nigga,
man. You
come-
done your thing, bro.
Come
Like,
on,
No,
you
no, no.
like-
I think-
you
I think-
first
job.
you
He
man
said they
is-
threw you in the deep end and you
Yeah,
swam
you-
still.
Hey,
You
you're
swam.
making- hey, you're making
People
man
are gonna
pull
be pleasantly surprised. I think it was
And
really
we
fun.
got to
That'd
get
be
you
all
back
over my
on though,
page.
because I want to talk about Antigua, but we
Yeah,
ain't
yeah,
got
yeah.
time.
No, next
Yeah,
time.
next
Let's
time,
go. Next
yeah.
time.
No,
Next
but no,
time.
but even usually to come back on anyway because the convo was flowing and I feel like there was a lot more.
If you
to
don't want to
talk
part
about.
two, let us know, man.
No,
Yeah,
what down?
we'll
Like,
be
do you know
back.
what it is?
Because
I think-
Femi's not in Jamaica
It's
and
a
that.
sick convo still.
No, I think it's really important that this is why I love these spaces, and I say this like all the time when I've been in this room. I love these spaces because you can have conversations that almost like group chat conversations,
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
really
yeah.
like facilitate it for the community. This is the beginning of the conversation. Like some people are gonna watch this, they're gonna disagree with everything we've said, but it's gonna lead to further and also it's almost like this is our question time. This is our.
And we don't have the answers. We're trying to figure it out, just like
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
else,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we want the best for the situation.
And we want the best for our community.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. And like you guys having a platform like this is important because I can't go on the news and talk about this
Yeah.
in the way that we do.
And also, just to close as well, like in terms of what we do as a podcast, we reach a lot of people. Like I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, "Yo, your podcast got me through a dark time. You man are like the big bros. I rate what you say, whatever." But we're hyper visual. Like people can see us. Whereas Nicky and Femi, like I don't think you realize when you go on set, and you see how many like black people or people within the community that these men are either employing, on the staff, giving opportunities to, brother, it's amazing, bro. So seriously, I got to take my hat off to you, man.
Thank you, man.
Because like people won't see it, but me being there for like those 2-3 days, and kind of seeing other projects. Even my man, I can't remember his name, man. Abra's boy.
Baz. This guy come out of prison.
Baz.
He said he wanted to do acting. I said, "Oh, are you sure?" I said, "I'll put you in a comedy thing." He said, "Bro, I'm not sure about comedy." I said, "Bro, you said you wanted to be an actor." And like, he's had 2 acting roles since.
But Baz, I swear to you, one of the safest dudes. When you speak to him, he just wants to learn, bro.
Yeah.
And that's when you realize, when you speak to certain man, it's their product of their environment and
lack of opportunity.
Because you can see, bro, if you gave this brother opportunities, you can see that he'll thrive. But obviously life is life, innit?
Yeah.
But when you speak to him, bro, he's the nicest dude, bro. As in like, wants to learn, like, bro. If I'm telling him something, like, yo, bro, thank you for telling me that, man. I appreciate that, man. Like, cool dude.
Shut up.
And I'm saying, you man are giving people like the opportunities that people
it's
weren't
important,
getting
man.
opportunities.
It's
So very important.
And this is the thing about the community, is like we have to have that community.
And this is what we should do. Like, this is what you guys do. This is what, like, for me, I'm in my position to put on my community. And if I'm in my position to like pay people, to give people their first jobs, to all of that, where I can, like I do. And when you come on our set, like literally, I'm trying to employ the most amount of black people as possible. Like as long as they've got their expertise, and even if you don't have the expertise, I can just put you in an entry level position, because that's what we've got. Like that's why we are where we are. That's why. Remember, this show is for Comedy Central. Like then you've got a Comedy Central on your CV now, so then you can use that and flex and go and pattern something else if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, Hollywood. Brother, Leonardo DiCaprio and them, man, he's already ranked, man, you know. What? Leonardo?
What is it? The movie star.
The Reverend 2.
Not Marvin Abbey.
The Reverend 2. Look at this hater.
Nah, he said, remember he said actor or movie star. He said, what, you're a movie star now?
No, actor first, didn't it?
Exactly, that's what we're talking about, Marvin Abbey.
Yeah. No, but to be fair, man's a movie star still, because the name's got a ring to it though.
The name's ringing.
Marvin Abbey, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see a film, like, ooh, Marvin Abbey, it's got the ring, man.
It's ringing.
Yeah, man's a movie star still. But yeah, love for coming through.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, man.
So Trapping is on.
Trapping is on the Drop.movie, and that's available to watch now. And then
Drunk History
is coming out on the 26th of October, week by week on Comedy Central's YouTube. However, in November, it's going on Comedy Central's TV channel.
Sick.
Cool.
Cool.
Peace.
Love, man. Cool, man.
Love.